The command to fire engines for the 109th Indy 500 was delayed by around 45 minutes due to a rain shower over the speedway, but the cars rolled off the grid at 1:25 p.m. ready to race. Before the start, two Black Hawk helicopters from the 160th Special Ops Aviation Regiment escorted the field, flying low above the cars in a display called the Pace Lap of America. But not even moments later, the drama began before the green flag would even come out. 2024 500 pole sitter Scott McLaughlin crashed on the pace lap when his car hit a damp spot on the track on cold tires and hit the inside pit wall. An absolutely dejected McLaughlin walked away from his car unhurt. On the same lap, Scott Dixon was also dealing with a brake fire that was unrelated to McLaughlin's accident, but the six-time champ got the fire out and was able to keep his fourth-place starting position. The true star of the race would be on lap 4, as Robert Shwartzman would lead the field to green, a rookie doing so for the first time since 1983. But we'd only be green for about half a mile as Marco Andretti and Marcus Armstrong tangled in turn 1. Armstrong was able to continue on unscathed, but Andretti's race was over before it could really even get started. On the lap 10 restart, Pato O'Ward took the lead from Shwartzman and took off into turn 1. As the field snaked down the backstretch, Takuma Sato passed Shwartzman for second, and Alex Palou passed Dixon for sixth. It was becoming clear that Shwartzman could not keep up with the leaders as the 83 fell back behind Felix Rosenqvist. Back at the front, Takuma Sato would take the lead from O'Ward into turn 3 on lap 11. During a yellow for light rain on lap 25, Kyle Larson had a very slow pit stop that sent him to the back of the field. O'Ward had an incredible save during his pit exit, somehow not hitting anything as he slid out of his pit box. Shwartzman was also taken out of the lead group with a slow pit stop, and Dixon ended up pitting again, this time to replace his entire left rear brake, putting the 9 car multiple laps down. The race went back green on lap 30 with all 3 Ed Carpenter cars leading the field. The field was jumbled up from the pit cycle but settled into a nice rhythm for the next stint of the race. It became clear during the next pit cycle on lap 62 that pit stop performance will make or break races this year. Alex Palou and David Malukas had great stops and came out in front at the end of the cycle. Alexander Rossi also developed an issue with an overheating gearbox. Smoke was pouring from his car, but he wasn't losing significant speed. Rossi finally pitted on lap 73 to examine the issue, but as soon as the team took off the left rear tire, the fire that had started in the gearbox spread to the fuel spilled on the car, including Rossi's crew members. The whole car went up in flames, ending the 2016 winner's day. But all of his crew members also escaped unharmed. Despite the calamity on pit road, there was no caution for the incident, but we wouldn't have to wait long for another yellow. Rinus VK's strong run came to an end when he spun out on pit entry on lap 82. VK said his brakes went to the floor, ending a promising day for the only Dale Coyne car to make the field. The pit road calamity continued during yellow flag pit stops. Takuma Sato overshot his box, losing a ton of time, and Robert Shwartzman's promising rookie campaign came to an end when his brakes failed coming into his pit box. The car hit multiple crew members, but only one was injured, suffering a broken foot, but the rest escaped the scary incident unhurt. 2014 winner Ryan Hunter-Reay would lead the field back to green on lap 91, but Alex Palou was the true leader of the cars that were on the correct strategy, but he was still stuck behind many other drivers as the field filed through the south end. The green would last a whopping 2 corners before Kyle Larson spun at the entry to turn 2 and collected Kiffin Simpson and Stingray Robb. Larson's second attempt to complete the double ended in the outside wall, while Robb's car was lodged into the tire barrier on the inside of the backstretch. All drivers emerged unscathed, but Robb was soaked by water buildup within the tire wall. The lap 106 restart was aborted after an incredible save from Christian Rasmussen. The 21 car really wanted to step out and hit something, but the Dane kept it in line and continued on. They were 4 wide when they actually got going again on lap 110. Devlin DeFrancesco was leading, but he still had to pit, leaving Connor Daly, Alex Palou, and David Malukas to fight for the effective lead. Joseph Newgarden continued his quiet but methodical charge from the back row, finally breaking into the top 10. On lap 121, while DeFrancesco was still leading, Malukas was hounding Daly for the true lead of the race. With 66 to go, as Malukas' team executed a flawless pit stop, Newgarden rolled into his stall with a fuel pressure issue. His drive for 3 straight 500 wins came to a sad end for a great car that was carving through the field not even minutes earlier. With 64 to go, Malukas slingshot past Daly for 7th, but it was effectively second place. Daly pulled off an incredible move in turn 3 with 63 to go, passing Palou and Malukas in one move. But trouble would come for Daly with 37 laps to go. He started losing considerable speed on worn tires. First it was Malukas that passed him, then Palou. When Daly finally pulled off into the pits, Christian Rasmussen nearly got stuck below him but was able to get out, avoiding a scary impact with the pit wall. On Ryan Hunter-Reay's final stop, a stop that could have left him in the lead, the car failed to start, ending a promising day for what could have been the 2014 winner's second shot at victory. Malukas had a flawless final stop and beat Palou back on track by many car lengths. As Marcus Ericsson pitted for the last time, he also got out ahead of Palou, leaving the number 28 Andretti Global machine in the effective lead of the race. Final pit stops were over with 24 laps to run. It was Ericsson from Palou, Malukas, O'Ward, and Rosenqvist. With 15 to go, Palou finally made a late daring move into turn 1 to take the lead of the Indy 500. The lap cars of Devlin DeFrancesco and Louis Foster ahead were making it difficult for Ericsson to retaliate because Palou was constantly staying in the draft of the lap cars. Alex Palou had won almost everything there is to win in IndyCar except for an Indianapolis 500. Until now, the Spaniard continued his domination of the 2025 season, winning his first Indy 500 under caution as Nolan Siegel crashed on the final lap. Mirroring the beginning of the race, the drama would continue well after the checkered flag. Looking at the final results of the race, you will notice there are some cars missing. Marcus Ericsson, Kyle Kirkwood, and Callum Ilott were all penalized after failing post-race tech inspection and sent to the back of the running order. Alex Palou would still walk away with his first 500 win. David Malukas would be moved up to second, Pato O'Ward would finish on the podium. Felix Rosenqvist finished fourth, Santino Ferrucci fifth, Christian Rasmussen had an up-and-down day but still finished 6th, and Christian Lundgaard, with a car that backfired every time it left its pit box, still managed a 7th place finish. Connor Daly was able to claw back from his late race tire issue to finish 8th. Takuma Sato had a great run in the early going of the race, still finished 9th. Elio Castroneves' drive for 5 ended in a 10th place finish this year. Devlin DeFrancesco and Louis Foster were the last cars on the lead lap in 11th and 12th place. Nolan Siegel, despite crashing on the final lap, was still classified 13th as the field was frozen. Colton Herta was the first car one lap down in 14th place. Ed Carpenter, Will Power, and Graham Rahal were 15th, 16th, and 17th, one lap down. Marcus Armstrong had a very chaotic day, finishing 2 laps down after his early tangle with Marco Andretti. Jack Harvey, who could have been a contender earlier in the race, ended up finishing 2 laps down after some pit stop issues. Scott Dixon's race was over before it really even got started. His brake change put him 3 laps down and he stayed there all day. Ryan Hunter-Reay was a late contender for the win but was taken out late due to a mechanical failure. Same with Joseph Newgarden encountering a fuel pressure issue in the late half of the race. Stingray Robb, Kyle Larson, and Kiffin Simpson were all caught up in an accident and finished 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Pole sitter Robert Schwartzman would finish 26th after contact in the pit lane that would lead to him running into his crew. Rinus VeeKay finished 27th after wiping out coming into the pit lane, and Alexander Rossi would end up 28th after that scary fire in his pit stall. Marco Andretti crashed out on the initial start on lap 4, and Scott McLaughlin didn't even get to start the race, crashing on the pace laps. And then the final 3 were the 3 cars disqualified earlier. Marcus Ericsson, Kyle Kirkwood, and Callum Ilott is your last place finisher for this year's Indianapolis 500. This year's Indy 500 was certainly one to remember, but the season is nowhere near over for the NTT IndyCar Series. Your favorite drivers are back in action Sunday, June 1st for the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix. You can watch it on Fox at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another TWIR upload, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.